Destiny 2 player count has now fallen below Curse of Osiris lows. The point where Bungie once said it was weeks away from shutting the game down entirely. So what has occurred over the past couple of days or a day and a half is we finally got actual data, about as close as we can possibly get in regards to the size of Destiny's player base. For a long time, the only reason why we're really covering this at this point is because we would cover things like Steam chart numbers, which is obviously something that we use to track mini games, but it shows concurrent players. But there were so many people that would come out and be like, Cross, it's no worry. Steam is a small part of the player base. Console's way bigger. And then I would hear other subjective things like the new player experience is good because my friend enjoyed it, when that couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm not saying that your friend, whoever they are, should enjoy the new player experience, but based on my most recent experience, the new player experience, it's awful. The onboarding experience out of Destiny is awful. And by the way, all these things go hand in hand in maintaining player population. But let's check out this article here from Zahad. Destiny 2's total player numbers have dropped below the point where Bungie once said the game was just weeks from being shut down. It's not an exaggeration to say Destiny 2 is in one of its roughest spots ever. It's something you can see in nearly every community post, YouTube comments, or even the game's Steam page, which currently sits at mostly negative for recent reviews. On Steam, the game recently hit its lowest average player count ever, around 17,400 players, a record low since the game moved to the platform in 2019. For weeks, frustrated players have been pointing to Steam's dwindling player count as a warning sign, but there's always been debate around how well these numbers reflect the game's total health across all platforms. Again, this is the people that would come out and say, Cross, this is a console game. Why are you even using Steam numbers? You can't even use those numbers when this game originated on consoles to begin with. But now we have something more complete. A community-run site called popularity.report tracks Destiny 2's total player population via the Bungie API across all platforms and activities. It also logs daily online player counts, giving us the clearest view yet of how many people are actually playing. And these are not looking good. In fact, the numbers have now fallen below the lows of Curse of Osiris, which has widely been considered as the lowest point in Destiny 2's history in terms of player population. Quotes, we were literally 5 weeks away from shuttering Destiny 2. That line comes straight from Justin Truman, who's now Bungie studio head after Pete Parsons stepped down as CEO, speaking during the GDC talk in 2023, titled From Box Products to Live Service, How Destiny 2 Transformed Bungie. Truman looked back at the early years of Destiny 2 and how close things came to shutting down Destiny 2. Referring to the weekly active user graph of 2018, Truman said this moment right here in February of 2018 was fucking terrifying. This graph shows the trend of our weekly active users, and at the rate that we were shedding players, if this continued for just 5 more weeks, we would run out of players. The entire population would be gone, and we were seriously looking at potentially being 1 month away from having to just close up shop on Destiny 2 altogether. I don't think you guys remember like how bad. I mean, that time frame was bad. It really took the Go Fast update, if y'all remember the Go Fast update, as simple as that to really get the ball rolling. But it was a number of things that had to occur to get us there. Now, you got to really just point to, well, what got us to this point? What got us to this point right here? Well, there were blatant issues after Destiny 2 launch with static roles and with the double primary system that no one liked, that Curse of Osiris did not address. And to be quite frank, it probably would have never been able to address it that quickly. And Bungie was also in this wait and see mindset. Maybe they might like it. And the game was just so much designed around those systems. Obviously blew up in their face. And then the other side of things was, we had Curse of Osiris. We went to Mercury. Osiris just didn't really hit for us. And, the 2 tokens in a blue, that's kind of where it, that's really where it came from, which was invest X amount of time, show nothing for it. But again, the thing that got us out of that, it started with the Go Fast update. It then moved into Warmind and really the Whisper mission. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Whisper mission for me was like, oh shit, Bungie could still cook some stuff. Whisper mission dropping on us out of just nowhere, and then it having the presence that it had was really the turning point for me, into to the point where I was like, okay, Bungie could still cook. And then on top of that, you saw all the trailers for Forsaken and whatnot. Now, the dip in active players came right after Curse of Osiris launch in late 2017, an expansion that received major backlash at the time. Truman added that the team was literally 5 weeks away from shuttering Destiny 2 as a product. That Bungie is gone? What are you talking about? Justin Truman is now studio head. We got 65,000 online players right now on Steam, PS, Xbox, and even Epic. Please do not perpetuate the same narrative to just look at Steam, which is not the only platform. Again, I encourage you and your team to check the Twitch channel, Bro, which is loving real-time data or living real-time data. This is how you do it, Cross, with true data. Brother, we're not just pulling this shit out of our ass. Okay, let me just go ahead and pull this. Like, I don't know, what are you talking about, dude? You think we're just pulling this out of our ass? This is it. This is posted by popularity.report, and it tracks everything. Since the general discussion in the community seems to involve Steam player counts on a daily basis nowadays, I wanted to highlight and shield a friend's project that is platform agnostic daily active player data. Popularity.report by Rich Destiny app. All right, we're not just pulling numbers out of our ass. This is Red War. All right, over 3.5 million, almost 4. Okay, this is Curse of Osiris. All right, look how low things got in Curse of Osiris. Forsaken, and it's so crazy to me because like Activision, if you remember, they said Forsaken was not a success. Again, maybe Bungie overspent. Could be, you know, probably speaking from that perspective. And then you see Shadowkeep, then Beyond Light, Witch Queen, Lightfall, Final Shape. Now this is the problem over here, everybody. This right here, this is Edge of Fate. Okay, and then down here is our low. Okay, Curse of Osiris. This is where they said that things almost got shut down. This is where Edge of Fate is. Beyond Light. I don't know where you're coming from, Limitless. I mean, Beyond Light has still had good numbers. That's what messed the game up. We have more data to go through on this. Okay, we've got more data, of which we'll get into. But the point is, it's like we've been making lower highs. I would actually say Lightfall. You could see the peak here of Lightfall. Like Lightfall was the potential for a turning point, and it just didn't have it, man. It just didn't have it. I think I'm gonna say this: if Lightfall had hits, if Lightfall had really balled out, I think this could have been the beginning of making higher highs again. I also want to bring up another point, and we'll get into the data in just a second. I think Bungie essentially stopping all PvP support really f***ed them, you know? And I've seen so many PvE players that are like, this is a PvE game, screw PvP. Bungie should just invest everything into PvE. We'll get into that data in just a moment. There are actually, you know, it shows a lot of people that actively play daily are PvP players. And okay, so you can actually see it at the website here. Now, let me just say this. Someone's going to bring up, so like right now, if I was to, you can't really even see this, man. But like it's around 320,000 active players each day. You know, you can make an argument that that is a good player count, but it is not the player count that is going to ever give us expansions like Final Shape ever again. You know what I mean? Not with these drops. I just don't see it happening. Obviously, they pulled it off with Curse of Osiris, but you know, now we're dipping below 300,000. And again, this circles back to our conversation about just optics. People, they look at D2 and they think it's a done game. And that's why like sequels are important, because then you would get these same Red War spikes. Look how many people picked the game up back when Destiny 2 launched. What is Sony doing? Sony's just trying to make this shit profitable, probably. Now, here's the other data that's the most, in my opinion, one of the most concerning. This right here, daily new players. If you see this red right here, guys, that's good. That's fantastic. New players in thousands. You can see in season 1, all the new players, how dense it is. Even if you see in the green territory, green is good too. Season 4, so I think that would have been Forsaken. Right now, everything gets pretty quiet, but then season 8, I think the real reason why you see like season Undying, I think it was like Undying. This is when we moved to Steam, if I remember correctly. This is when we moved to Steam for season 8, and there was a ton of people that picked up the game. But hold up, again, some people might look at these other accounts and are like, well, there's no red. This is still good. I think in this green area, fantastic. But you'll notice when you get down here, especially down here, 25, 26, 27, man, especially right here, there's just not many new players picking the game up. And this brings me back to our video that we made a week ago, which is I think Destiny has one of the worst onboarding experiences in all of gaming. There's nothing, I can't blame anyone for quitting the game based on the Cosmodrome questline. When what it should be a rollout of Red War, Forsaken, you know, hit them with the storylines. They can level up via those campaigns. That's such a good narrative to take them on. It's the same thing that like what we've experienced in things like Warframe, but just sending them to the Cosmodrome and dropping a couple legendaries into someone's inventory. This is what Bungie's new player experience has been built on, hoping that new player that's picking the game up has a friend who's already playing Destiny. because the idea is to literally get that new person playing. They can even skip that entire tutorial process and then join up with a friend. But here's the issue. The friend that was playing Destiny is no longer playing Destiny. So then that new player, they're actually having to go through the process of learning and experiencing Destiny on its own merits, and it's not a good experience. So when I say things like I want a Destiny Classic or Destiny 3, let me just boil this down to it. What I want truly is just a better onboarding experience for new players. You have to have a healthy inflow of new players, and somebody's going to look at these and say, well, these are pretty good numbers. You know, you're still talking 10,000, you know, roughly 10,000. Sure. I mean, it's not really reflective in the rest of our data. That's really the point. It's obviously not being reflected in this data. Yeah, there's so, like, the new player experience in Destiny could be so much better if we never had story removed. And now the new player experience, and what it's really been for a while, is just the expectation that you should know what Destiny is about, that you should understand what Destiny is about. You should know lore. Just essentially just throws you into the world without making any of the in-between appealing. The DCV really f***ed us. Yeah, man, the DCV really f***ed us. And here's the thing. I think the Edge of Fate story is good. I like Lodi. I love what's happening here with the 9. The problem is even as a new player, if you were to pick up Destiny right now and you play it, immediately it gives you a quest to jump into Edge of Fate. Do you know how confused you are? You know, like, within the first opening cutscene, Destiny's like, here are all the enemies. Oh yeah, here's the biggest bad ever, the Witness. Now we're gonna give you a quest and you're gonna jump straight into Edge of Fate. Do you see where I'm coming from? Like, that shit is so confusing. When really a new player should be hitting all of these, man. Red War, Forsaken, Shadowkeep Beyond, Light Witch Queen. You know what I'm coming from? They should be leveling up throughout that entire campaign experience while also getting lore and story, each one building on top of the other. And then have the same experience we had when we first laid eyes on the Witness, rather than a 2-minute cutscene at the beginning of your New Light experience that reveals everything. That serves nothing. And I also think that, and look, I'm gonna have so many people disagree with this. I think every expansion 2 years or older should be free. Completely free. Like, if you were to pick up Destiny today, you play Final Shape, you would have to pay for Final Shape. You would have to pay for the Edge of Fate. Everything else free. And that way you have everybody on a solid onboarding experience. Free or heavily discounted, like basically free. I mean, dude, you could still charge for, you know, I mean, we still got the Eververse store, you know what I mean? And like, if you onboard a player good enough, look what happens with Warframe. People literally go, this game is free. Therefore, I'm willing to drop a shit ton of money on Platinum because it's free. If you make everything older than 2 years completely free and have that entire onboarding experience, this can't even happen because Red War, Bungie acts like it never even happened and never existed. And this blows my mind because Bungie's in a lawsuit right now with a guy who says his story was stolen to make the Red War campaign. And now Bungie says they don't even have a playable build for it. And I don't even know, like, we haven't got any more updates on that. I'm actually curious to see how that pans out. Dude, I can't even express. To say it's a clusterfuck is an understatement. And again, back to this right here, because people were saying that we're taking the narrative and we're running with it and saying there's no new players. Again, we do have new players, but it ain't looking nothing like this up here. This right up here, I'm not asking for red. And you see these spikes here for like season 23. What was this, guys? What was this spike right here? Was this like Into the Light? Like, what was the spike? Epic Games Store free week. Now, here is the craziest. This one blew my mind. PvP just has no place in Destiny, guys. Bungie might as well remove it. Destiny 2 is primarily a PvE game. Why do you think they should maintain PvP? What the f? Look at what's at the top of the charts here. Control, Quick Play Master, Trials of Osiris, Caldera, Desert Perpetual, Comp, Quick Play Expert. That's ours, not players. Yeah, ours. Oh, that is ours. Well, I mean, it's still retention. It's still what people are playing the most of. It honestly baffled me. I didn't realize that many people actually still play PvP. Some could argue and say that's all we got. But I just feel like Bungie really shot themselves in the foot when they decided to take all PvP support away from Destiny and move it to Marathon, which is essentially what they did. Let's look at the elephant in the room. That's what they did. They took PvP support and they moved it to Marathon. Where's the strike team? I don't know, guys. There was a lot of things that Bungie said. Remember, we were supposed to be getting new maps all the time. You know where I'm coming from. And there was a strike team that was looking at Crucible and everything. But yeah, it just didn't happen. Doom and Gloom Cross. Hey, man, let me just say this. There are many things I still enjoy about Destiny. But, this data right here, this data is not good, guys. I mean, look, you could sit there and say all day long, people are Doom posting. This data is not good. Disregard the fact that the high of Edge of Fate essentially matched what we did in episodes. Look at the low. Look at the low continuing to make lows. Doom posting, in my opinion, is where we take, a piece of data or we essentially dramatize something just to make a video or whatever. Now it's just bad, man. It's just bad. And I really don't have, we've given out our suggestions, which everyone says it's impossible. Making a D3 is impossible. Making a Destiny Classic, impossible. All right. Well, if you're going to double down on Destiny 2, you're going to have to do sequel-worthy changes to keep this fucking ship afloat. And I'm not even sure if it's even worth it. I'm not even, because again, there are many people that quit playing Destiny 2 a long time ago, primarily in the final shape, because that was it for them. They were done. Bungie should have never split from Activision. We would be in D3 right now. Les, what did you just say out loud? Les, did you just say Bungie should have stayed with Activision? Are we really having this conversation right now? No, he's right. I don't know. Bungie seemed to galvanize behind going independent. And I would say, this time frame here, going into Shadowkeep, even though the numbers were lower than that of Forsaken, this time frame, everybody, even Beyond Light, even though Beyond Light, a lot of things went to shit, there were so many people that were behind Bungie, because for years we were told that the reason why we didn't get this or that was because Activision was holding Bungie back. And then they split. Bungie paid a shit ton of money to get out of that. They took the deal with NetEase, and then instead of Bungie riding off into the sunset, living on their own, being independent, they signed a deal with Sony. From the moment that they left Microsoft and they started making Destiny, I don't know, was the goal never to be independent? Was the goal of splitting off from Activision way back when? Was that split off was simply to go find a bigger buyer, in that case being Sony? In the scenario of Destiny 3 being announced by Bungie, the current state of Destiny 2, what do you think about them doing EOS on D2 and keeping their heads down until D3, like in the alpha testing stages for Marathon? I would say this, there's going to be no announcements of a D3 because no one is making a Destiny 3. And secondly, nothing will really be said that will drastically change Destiny, whether that be Destiny Classic, Destiny 3, or some huge evolution of Destiny 2 until after Marathon. Bungie has decided that Marathon is where that is the horse they are betting on. What I'm saying is, until March of next year, don't suspect a whole lot outside of what we know, outside of Renegades and everything else. At this point, I would get Marathon out the door. I would just be like, get it out the... you done invested this damn much. You done swap game directors. You've done completely re-alter the game. Some people say twice. Dude, get it out there. It's either going to live or it's going to die. It's either going to be the game that makes or breaks your studio. And man, I'm going to be honest. If Marathon ends up being the game that bankrupts Bungie, in some ways, it's kind of poetic when you think about it. You know what I mean? One of your original titles, like one of your OG titles, was the one that made you bite the dust. Dude, that is... Who scripts this shit? All it comes down to, guys, Sony was, in my opinion, Sony was panicking. They saw Microsoft scooping everybody up. They saw the deals coming with Activision. Sony wanted to pick up their own studios, spend their own money, and have this arsenal of live games. And Bungie raised their hand and said, hey, we've got Destiny, and we've got Marathon, we've got Gummy Bears, we've got another game that we're talking about making, Destiny Payback, and they're all live games. All of this does what? It pumps up valuation. You see where I'm coming from? What may have been a deal less than $1 billion, maybe around $500-600 million, now just was a colossal, explosive deal, nearly $4 billion. That's what that means. And what that it means in essence is Pete got more cars. That's the other thing. Pete got more cars, damn it. Brilliant play business-wise. Yeah, for select few. For Pete and maybe a few others. But for everybody else, terrible. Because what ended up happening? See, everything is good if Destiny was going to be able to cash cow this thing. But look, you can't. Look at what DA's doing. What is Digital Extremes doing? They have Warframe. They're actively developing it. They are always pushing updates in Warframe. And they are making one other game, Soulframe. No one in their right minds would take on essentially 4 other incubation projects with no end in development sites, with no true end dates. That is just madness, unless you were trying to pump up valuation, of which they did, and sell Bungie or sell Sony on this dream that was never going to come to fruition. And it worked out well for Pete and maybe a few select others. Everyone else, it didn't. because their way of maintaining profitability was to lay everybody off. Last time player count was this low, they wanted to shut it down a couple years back. I'm sure some tough conversations are being held right now about Destiny 2. Now, granted, I don't think anyone looked at Destiny 2 and thought that Edge of Fate was going to make a higher high than the final shape. No one expected that. So someone's going to bring that up and be like, given the climate of Bungie and their overhead right now, they fully expected to make, lower highs. Okay, that's fine. I agree with you on that. What they did not expect was to make lower lows, and lower lows than Curse of Osiris. They were hoping that Edge of Fate was going to become the new bedrock, this new foundation for Destiny to build upon for years to come. And what this really boils down to is this is going to put a tremendous stress on Renegades, and almost an impossible amount of stress that I don't think Renegades is going to be able to solve. We have come full circle. People are going to be looking at Renegades like they looked at Curse of Osiris. And what I mean by that is there was so much expectation on Curse of Osiris, hoping that Curse of Osiris would address all of the pain points and would turn the game around. But keep in mind, that never happened. And it didn't happen until Forsaken. But people are still, they're still going to be looking at Renegades, and they're going to be expecting that same level turnaround. What would ever make you forget Destiny ever existed? I don't think anything can make me forget what Destiny, or make me forget that Destiny ever existed. Guys, we sit in here and we talk shit about Destiny and not, but dude, Destiny was such an impact, and still to this day, such an impactful game to us. Back in the day, I was so excited to come home from work and grind Nightfalls with random people I've never talked to. And it was so much fun, dude. The days of grinding for an Ias Luna and Crucible, watching Cade get taken out and Forsaken, and then watching it unfold in final shape. Like there has been so much that has happened in this 10-year time frame that really was special. I'll never forget it. And that's why it's okay if it dies. We had amazing moments. Over now. All things come to an end. See y'all in D3 in 10 years. Yeah, dude, that's kind of where I'm at, guys. It's like, and I know people love Destiny 2 right now, and I enjoy Destiny 2 to some elements, but I really think that you can't just keep doing what you're doing right now. It's just not going to work. And we're going to watch something we love die a very slow, painful death. You know what I mean? But again, I just want to bring this back. Like, I am truly blessed to have experienced Destiny with you guys, to have played this game for as long as we have played it, from Deep Stone Lullaby and Beyond Light, to the first time we've got pinnacle weapons, for the first time I played Gambit, to even the memey nature of Lightfall, to the armor subclasses, or the new subclass 3.0 and Witch Queen, to the send-off from Final Shape, man. It was good, dude. It wasn't just good, it was great. It was great, dude. I will never forget this shit. It really has been such a wonderful time, guys. So I don't know what Bungie's gonna do. We've got terrible low lows here, guys. We've dipped below Curse of Osiris, and yeah, things are not looking good, man. Things are not looking good. And right now, unfortunately, it's really coming down to Renegades. And I just don't know if a Star Wars themed expansion is going to bail Destiny out.